Stop. Before you spend that quarter, take a closer look. If you have one of these coins, you could be holding something collectors are desperately searching for. Some examples have sold for surprising amounts at auction because of rare errors, unusual varieties, or exceptional condition. If you find one, don't clean it, don't spend it, and definitely don't ignore it. You might be holding a coin that could make you the luckiest person in the world. What if a quarter sitting in your pocket right now could be hiding a story that most people would completely overlook? What if one small detail could turn an ordinary-looking coin into a collector's dream? If you have this coin, you might feel like the luckiest person in the world. But before you get too excited, you need to know exactly what makes a 1995 D Washington quarter interesting, because not every example is rare and not every coin is worth a fortune. Today, we're taking a close look at the 1995 D Washington quarter, a coin that was produced in enormous numbers, but can still attract serious attention when it appears in exceptional condition or with a genuine mint error. The first thing you should know is that the 1995 D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, and the official mintage was an incredible 1,103,216,000 coins. That means this is not a low mintage coin in its normal form. According to PCGS Coin Facts, the standard 1995 D Washington quarter weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.30 millimeters across, has a reeded edge, and uses the modern copper-nickel composition with a pure copper center. So why do collectors still look at these coins? The answer is condition, varieties, and errors. And this is where your pocket change can become much more interesting. Turn the coin over and look for the small D mint mark. That tiny letter tells you the coin was made at Denver. Then examine Washington's portrait carefully. Look for unusual doubling, strange shapes around the lettering, cracks in the die, missing details, off-center striking, or other abnormalities that cannot be explained by normal wear. But remember, damage that happens after the coin leaves the mint is not automatically a valuable mint error. Scratches, dents, discoloration, machine damage, and environmental damage are common and usually do not create major collector value. This distinction is extremely important if you are searching through hundreds of coins. Now let's talk about the part that makes collectors pay attention: condition. A regular circulated 1995 D quarter is generally not a fortune. In fact, its face value is only 25 cents, and its enormous production means ordinary examples are relatively easy to find. But coins preserved in exceptionally high grades are a completely different story. PCGS records an auction result of $1,293 for a 1995 D Washington quarter graded MS 67+, sold by Goldberg Auctioneers on June 5, 2017. Think about what that means. The same basic type of quarter that most people would casually spend for 25 cents has produced a four-figure auction result when the right coin combined exceptional preservation with a high certified grade. That is why collectors tell beginners never to judge a coin only by its date. You have to inspect the entire coin. Imagine finding a 1995 D quarter with brilliant original surfaces, sharp details, minimal marks, strong luster, and a legitimate minting error. That is where the excitement really begins. And this is also where internet claims about huge values can become confusing. You may have heard dramatic stories suggesting that a 1995 D quarter could be worth $80,000 at auction. If you have seen that number online, do not automatically assume that every 1995 D quarter has an $80,000 value. The documented PCGS auction record for the standard 1995 D issue is $1,293, not $80,000. An extraordinary price like $80,000 would require extraordinary circumstances, such as a truly exceptional and authenticated error, an extremely rare variety, or another special characteristic, and it would need to be supported by a legitimate auction record. So if someone tells you that every 1995 D quarter is worth $80,000, be extremely careful. The real treasure hunting lesson is much more useful. Learn how to identify the exceptional examples. Start with the date. Make sure it actually says 1995. Next, locate the D mint mark. Then inspect both sides under bright light. Slowly rotate the coin and watch how the light moves across the surface. This can help you notice unusual doubling, die cracks, or other features that might disappear under poor lighting. Never clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy original surfaces and reduce collector appeal. If the coin looks unusually sharp and untouched, place it somewhere safe and consider getting an opinion from a reputable numismatist or professional grading service before assuming it is valuable. Remember, a coin does not become rare simply because someone online says it is rare. The strongest evidence comes from documented examples, professional authentication, certified grades, and real auction results. And that brings us back to the question everyone wants answered. Could your 1995 D quarter make you rich? A normal circulated example is not an $80,000 coin, but a genuinely exceptional example can be worth far more than its face value. And the documented $1,293 auction result proves that high-grade examples can attract serious collector interest. If you happen to discover an unusual 1995 D quarter, do not spend it before checking it carefully. You might not have found an $80,000 treasure, but you could have found something worth investigating. And if your coin has a dramatic mint error, an unusually high grade, or a feature that specialists can authenticate, its story could become much more interesting. So the next time someone hands you a handful of change, slow down. Look at the dates. Look at the mint marks. Look at the surfaces. Because sometimes the most overlooked coins are the ones that deserve a second look. If you have a 1995 D Washington quarter, take a close-up photo of both sides, especially the date, mint mark, lettering, and any unusual area, and compare it with trusted numismatic references before making any decision to sell. And remember, if you have this coin, you may be the luckiest person in the world, not because every 1995 D quarter is automatically worth a fortune, but because one unusual detail can completely change the collector's story behind an ordinary-looking coin. Keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the small change sitting right in front of you. If you enjoyed this coin hunt, subscribe to the channel, share this video with another collector, and tell us in the comments whether you have ever found a 1995 D quarter with an unusual error or exceptionally sharp condition. Your next discovery could be hiding in plain sight. What if a quarter that looks completely ordinary could actually be hiding something collectors have been searching for decades? If you have a 1969 Washington quarter, do not spend it before taking a close look. You might be holding a coin that deserves much more attention than its 25-cent face value. And if your 1969 quarter has a rare mint error, an unusual variety, or exceptional condition, you could be looking at a coin with serious collector interest. So if you have this coin, you might be one of the luckiest people in the world. But there is one important thing you need to understand first. Not every 1969 quarter is rare, and not every old quarter is automatically valuable. The real excitement begins when we discover what makes a particular example different. The 1969 Washington quarter belongs to an important period in American coinage. By this time, the United States had already moved away from the traditional 90% silver composition used for earlier Washington quarters. The 1969 quarter was struck in the copper-nickel-clad composition, with a copper core surrounded by layers of copper-nickel. That means you should not automatically assume that every 1969 quarter contains silver simply because it is an older coin. The easiest way to begin your investigation is by checking the date. Make sure the coin clearly shows 1969. Then look for the mint mark. Depending on the issue, you may see a D for Denver, while Philadelphia examples from this period have no mint mark. The mint mark can help you determine which version you have and can make a major difference when researching a particular coin. Now turn the quarter over and examine Washington's portrait. Look closely at the lettering, the date, the mint mark, the edges, and the overall surface. You are looking for something unusual. Maybe the lettering appears doubled. Maybe part of the design seems unusually thick. Maybe the coin is struck noticeably off-center. Maybe there is a dramatic die crack running through the design. Or perhaps the coin has an unusual weakness that needs professional examination. These are the kinds of details that can make collectors stop and take a second look. But there is another important point. Damage is not the same thing as a mint error. A quarter that has been scratched, hit, flattened, discolored, or damaged by machinery after leaving the mint generally does not become rare just because the damage looks unusual. Genuine mint errors happen during the manufacturing process, and authenticating them is extremely important. This is why you should never clean your 1969 quarter. Cleaning may remove the original surface and potentially reduce its collector appeal. Instead, hold the coin carefully by its edges and inspect it under good lighting. If you see something unusual, Take clear photographs and compare the coin with trusted numismatic references. Condition is another major factor. Two quarters with exactly the same date and mint mark can have dramatically different values because one may be heavily worn while the other has survived with sharp details and attractive original surfaces. Collectors often use grading systems to describe the condition of coins, ranging from heavily circulated examples to brilliant uncirculated pieces. A coin with minimal contact marks, strong luster, and sharp details can be much more desirable than an ordinary worn example. A huge price would require an extraordinary example and reliable documentation. If someone claims your normal circulated quarter is automatically worth $80,000, be extremely cautious. The smartest collectors separate genuine rarity from exaggerated internet claims. The real opportunity is finding something unusual and then having it properly identified. So let's imagine you are searching through a jar of old coins. You pick up a quarter and see the date 1969. Your first reaction might be to put it back because it looks common. But instead, stop for a moment. Check the mint mark. Examine the date. Look at Washington's portrait. Inspect the reverse design. Look around the lettering. Check the edge. Compare both sides carefully. If something looks different, set the coin aside. This simple habit can help you avoid accidentally spending a coin that deserves further research. One of the most exciting possibilities is a genuine double die or another recognized variety. However, not every apparent doubling is a double die. Machine doubling can create flat, shelf-like appearances that may look dramatic to beginners but are usually much less valuable. This is why photographs and professional opinions can be extremely helpful. Another thing to watch for is an off-center strike. If the design is clearly shifted toward one side and part of the blank planchet is visible, the coin may deserve attention. The greater and more dramatic the error, the more interesting it can become to collectors, although value depends on many factors. You should also examine the edge. A normal clad quarter should have the expected layered appearance. If the edge looks dramatically different from normal, do not immediately assume you have found a valuable error. Compare it with another quarter from the same era and seek expert confirmation. The same rule applies to weight. A standard quarter should have the expected specifications for its type. If your coin is significantly different in weight, that could be a reason to investigate further, but a scale alone cannot prove that a coin is a rare error. Counterfeits, damaged coins, and altered pieces can also have unusual measurements. Now let's talk about the emotional side of coin collecting. Finding an old quarter can feel like discovering a tiny time capsule. This coin may have traveled through stores, vending machines, banks, gas stations, restaurants, and countless people's hands before reaching you. For decades, it remained part of everyday American life. And today, you are the person giving it another look. That is what makes coin hunting so exciting. You do not need expensive equipment to begin. A simple magnifying glass, a good light, a digital scale, and patience can take you surprisingly far. The most important tool is knowledge. Learn what normal looks like before trying to identify what is abnormal. Compare your 1969 quarter with several ordinary examples. Look at the date and lettering from different angles. Notice the shape of the rim. Study the details on Washington's portrait and the reverse eagle. And never alter it to make an error appear more dramatic. If you discover something unusual, preserve the coin and have it examined by someone experienced in U.S. coins. The biggest lesson is simple. Age alone does not make a coin rare, and a huge online price claim does not automatically make a coin valuable. Evidence matters. Authentication matters. Condition matters. And real auction results matter. So the next time you receive an old quarter in your change, don't automatically spend it. Take a second look. That tiny piece of metal could be ordinary, or it could contain a fascinating story that has been waiting for someone to discover it. If you have a 1969 quarter, check yours today and tell us in the comments whether it has a D mint mark, whether it shows any unusual features, and what condition it appears to be in. Subscribe for more coin discoveries, share this video with another collector, and keep searching your change, because sometimes the most exciting treasures are hiding in plain sight.